No, you will never find buyers to export if you don't know this first. In this video, I'm gonna unlock the secret to finding buyers and to skyrocket your export. In just a few minutes, we're gonna change the game for you. This is Fung Cheng, and I have been doing export and import business in China for over 10 years. So let's get started. The first one is, you gotta understand the Chinese business culture. Because in the Chinese culture, it is all about networking and building trust. The foundation of business success in China is relationships, or Guanxi. These connections can open doors which would otherwise remain unlocked. What does that mean? I'm gonna give you an example. So let's say you've got a very good product or brand, then you want to bring it into the Chinese market. Of course, you want to talk to a lot of wholesalers, right? Distributors, to see if they can sell it for you. Well, this is pretty straightforward in the Western countries or any other countries in the world. But you gotta remember, there's one difference. It is that if in the Western countries or any other countries in the world, you try to build up a business with a person or company, and then after some times, you guys have a very good trust and relationship, and then you invite the party for dinner, right? So you kind of like building trust through the business relationship. But in China, this is actually a little bit different. It is some kind of opposite. What that means is that you usually have to build up the trust, right? You gotta have the dinner, right, with the party, with the company first, before you guys do business. The business usually come after the trust. To them, you are a foreigner, you are a foreign company. That is a little bit more difficult for them to understand you or verify your business. So it is important for you to build up trust with them first. So as soon as they get to know you more, after they trust you, right, they're gonna give you a much better business deal. So you gotta remember that, of course, you might be famous, your company might be famous in your country, but when you are in a foreign country, when you are in China, the information is kind of a little bit limited. This is more difficult for them to verify your company. So this is something that you gotta remember. A good way is that you have a face-to-face interaction, right? Or share meals together. In the past, the gift exchange is a good way to build up trust, but this year is more like a personal preference, right? You can give out gift to the company or not. This is your personal preference. In a Western country right now, you may be thinking, we don't see face-to-face as often because of the COVID, because it's kind of like a traditional outdated method, right? Right now, people, they are using Zoom, they are using Google Meeting, a lot of software to have a conference call. But in China, even though we have a lot of similar software, such as a Tencent conference, right? No, we usually prefer to have a face-to-face interaction. We want to meet someone in person. That's how people usually get the deal, right? Get the contract when they are doing face-to-face with the company. Because the physical presence, it signifies the commitment and reliability. So while the digital is growing, the offline interactions remain a cornerstone in the Chinese business culture. Alright, so the second thing is the role of local agent and distributors. Alright, so let's move on. Let's talk about the role of local agent and distributors. Let's be honest, hiring local agent can be a bridge between you and the potential customers in China. The agent's established network can be your direct pathway into trusted circles. So what does that mean? It means that if the Chinese market is totally new to you, right? You got no connection in the country. You basically just don't know anything, right? Then it is best that you have an agent to guide you, right? To help you to penetrate your business into China. Because this is going to be a much faster method than doing that all by yourself. As I've just discussed, it really takes time in the business, China business culture, right, to build up the trust. So if you hire an agent in China, it's gonna make things much more easier because you can kind of utilize the established network of the agent. Because the people in the agent's network, they already trust the agent. They trust and they have been knowing each other for many years. So the agent is going to be your key person, the key person for you to enter in the Chinese market. So let's talk about the distributors. In many years ago, right, the old way of doing, distribution in China is that, you find an exclusive distributor. You have the exclusive distributors to handle everything for you, right? Basically, you sign a contract, say a 3 years contract with the company who wants to be your brand exclusive distributors in China. So in the contract, it basically said that you assign that company to be your exclusive distributors. They are the only company who can sell your brand or your products or your service, in the market. But then in return, they have to promise that they can buy, a certain number of products or sales from you each year. Otherwise, they will be terminated. That was one of the most common way to sell to China in the past. Why I say in the past? It is because nowadays, because of the internet, because of the information, they are pretty transparent. You can basically contact anyone in China, and the Chinese company can contact anyone in the world. So because of the information is very transparent, there's no need to have a middleman, to have an exclusive middleman to help you handle things. Because it was actually more harm than good, having distributors to be an exclusive. It means that in those years, right, you basically just kind of give up all your control as the brand owner. There's many other way for you as a brand or company owner, right, to still working with distributors in China, but on the other hand, take the full control of your company and brand. If you are interested, be sure to subscribe my YouTube channel and check out my other video. So to continue, you gotta ensure your distributors align with your brand value, right, to maintain consistency. You want to find a company to become your distributors and they respect your brand value, right? They follow your brand policy, your pricing policy. They don't do stupid thing, to harm your brand and stuff, right? So you gotta find distributors who really aligns with your brand value. Because at the end of the day, you want, everyone to be happy. You want a win-win situation. So it's important that you find distributors who respect your brand and follow the rules. And then on the other hand, make you money. So to get more buyers for your export business, this thing is going to be very important. It is to maximize digital footprint for the Chinese market. So right now, because of the internet, there's a lot of good opportunities for you as a foreign brand to list your great products or service, on the e-commerce platform such as Alibaba.com, JD.com, and Made in China. They are the biggest B2B platform in China right now. But of course, if you are you are more focusing on brand, right? You got your own products that has a certain pattern and trademarks, then maybe you should consider the other ways, because these B2B platform, they are more or less like a wholesale type of business. It is better, more suitable for companies who are selling like materials into China, or OEMs, private label service, this kind of stuff. Because if you have your own brand, the best way is to have your own Chinese website, right? Your home and your official website for your brand. But of course, if you want to list your products or materials on this platform, is totally fine, because it actually can help you to enhance your credibilities and trustworthiness, because at the end of the day, you pay this platform money, and then but in return you will get exposure and credibilities from these platforms. You gotta make sure your product image, right, they look really good. Because to be honest, nowadays e-commerce in China, right, they are just booming, right, and this is too competitive right now. So the Chinese potential buyers, they are used to extremely good looking image, product image. Even though this is a $2 product, right, with a luxury looking, premium image, product image, basically every product, on the Chinese internet looks like a $200 product. So you get my point. You gotta make sure your product image looks very good. And then, you gotta maintain a profile, your company or business profile that attract serious buyers to establish brand authority. Because a well-detailed company profile can make a significant differences, right? As I said, you gotta make sure that the potential Chinese customers or buyers, they trust you. One of the good way for them to trust you is that you have a, you get them to understand you more, right? So that's why the more detail of your company profile, the more detail of your company background in your country, right? It's going to be, a good thing for them. The next one is social media and digital marketing. So China has its own social media giants, right? In the Western countries, we have Facebook, we have Google, we have Instagram. But in China, on the other hand, in China, we have Weibo, we have WeChat, we have Douyin, which is the Chinese TikTok. I always said that in my other video is that if you want, the customers in any other countries, right, to believe in you, believe in your product, to trust your business, one of the good ways is that you ensure your social media account has a lot of followers, a lot of active posts. Because when the potential buyer, right, they hear about your brand and product and service, then the next thing that they are going to do is that they will go to search your social media accounts. They want to see, how active your business are, and then they want to see, how many followers that you got. They just want to learn more about you and your business, right? But then, if the next thing that they find out is that you only got, when they look at your followers, okay, you got 15 followers, and they want to check, when is your the last post that you have made on your social media account, and it was 2 years ago, right? So what would they think, right? So you get my point. So this is actually one of the most common mistake a lot of international business or companies that they make. They've underestimated the importance of a social media accounts, especially those social media for the specific country, right? This thing, right, it is right that it doesn't bring you a direct sales, right? It doesn't mean that if I keep posting, making posts every day on my social media account, then I'll get sales every day from the social media. We know that it doesn't work that way, but on the other hand, you just can't underestimate the importance of the social media, because this is all about the psychology, right? The marketing and consumer psychology. So you always want to remember, if you want to go to the Chinese market, right? Then you want to set up your social media account, right? And then you should see a long-term success if you keep doing it. Just like what you are doing on Facebook. And then of course you can collaborate with the local influencers in China. We call it KOL or KOC, the key opinion leader and key opinion consumers, right? You can actually, as a brand owner, you can work with a lot of KOL or influencers to promote your brand, because the more people talk about your product and brands in China, right, the more people are going to trust you. But of course you have to make sure the people that helping you to promote your product, they stick with your brand value, right? You don't want to just try to bullshit about your brand. You want to make sure that they know what your brand does, your brand background, your brand story and stuff. And then the SEO, China is different, right? Because Google is not available in the Chinese market. So in China, we have Baidu, right? Baidu is the key player, right? The top one, the one that you have to use. If you know the importance of having a good SEO on Google, right, then you know how important it is that you do it on the same on Baidu in China. Because you as a business owner, you also get a lot of international competitors. They also want to sell their products into the Chinese market. Say if they are unfamiliar with Baidu, but you do, right? You do, then you're gonna place yourself ahead of the competition. Alright, we discussed the importance of the digital marketing in China, for your business and company. And then let's go to the other factor, other important aspect, which is the effective participation in trade show and establishing presence. If you got a very good product to sell to the Chinese market, then you gotta go to the Canton Fair, right? The Canton Fair is one of the largest trade show to connect foreign and the local business. Because in the past years, it was pretty difficult for foreign companies to fly into China because of the COVID, right? They just couldn't attend the Canton Fair. But, from this year, it's just gonna be, everything is opened, then, you can actually fly to China for each year for the Canton Fair. And there are many international trade shows that you as the international company owner, wants to attend as well. But, you got to do your research to see which kind of industry, has a certain international trade show that you have to go. Overseas office. So, this is one of the most asked questions by the foreign company. If I want to sell it to China, do I have to open up a branch, an office in China? Of course, this is gonna be a good move because it shows your commitment and your seriousness, right? And the local customers, potential buyers in China, they actually will appreciate that because they can actually see your company exist in the country. And I'm gonna give you a good tip on that, is that you want to start with a small office first, just to understand the market before transitioning to a full-scale operations. Because in the very beginning, you want to understand more about the Chinese market. You want to test out different sales channel, different distribution model or products. And you don't get a lot of visitors, at the very beginning anyways. So, you actually don't need to invest, a big chunk of money just to make a huge branch, in the Chinese market. But yeah, an office in China can act as a trust signal that enhancing your brand reliabilities. So tapping into the Chinese market can be your golden goals. Remember, it is about blending the traditional with the modern. Dive deep into the culture, maximize your digital presence and be physically present. The world of opportunities in China awaits you. Alright, so before we wrap this video, I would like to hear your comments. Comment below and share your experience with others. Subscribe to my email list to get weekly tips and tricks on the Chinese market. The link is the description below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in my next video.